Have you ever asked yourself why the more you try to explain, the more exhausted you feel? Why is it that every time you respond to a sarcastic remark, the person across from you feels even more victorious, while you lie awake all night, consumed by a nameless resentment? The brutal truth is this: throughout your entire life, you have been bleeding power without ever noticing the wound. Every time you reacted to someone who did not deserve it, you voluntarily handed them the key to your own mind. You thought you were fighting back, but in reality, you were kneeling and begging for recognition from people who never respected you in the first place. Society teaches you that kindness will be respected. That explanation will lead to understanding. Wrong. Niccolo Machiavelli saw through this illusion 500 years ago. Your attention is not free. It is the most expensive currency you possess. Yet you keep spending it on energy beggars. It is time to wake up. Silence is not weakness. It is a weapon of mass destruction. This video will expose the 7 darkest psychological tactics, so you can learn to distinguish the mindset of a ruler from that of an emotional slave. I will show you how to use coldness and calculation like a master and become untouchable. Do not take your eyes off the screen, because once you truly master the art of ignoring, the game will reverse. No one, absolutely no one, will ever be able to control your life again. Ruthless truth. All of Niccolo Machiavelli's studies point to one truth: power never asks whether you deserve it. It only asks where you are positioned on the chessboard. We are living in an age where attention is cheapened. You feel insulted by a critical comment online. You rage when a colleague looks down on you. And you spend your entire youth trying to prove that they were wrong. You call that defending your honor. Machiavelli calls it slavery. The weak always need recognition, while the strong only need position. In this video, Machiavelli will not teach you how to be forgiving to soothe your soul. On the contrary, the strategist of kings will help you strip away the layer of fake morality you have been using to deceive yourself. Before we go into the details, you need to remember this. Clearly, silence is not endurance. It is calculated disregard. In a world that runs on the instinct of domination, ignoring is not running away from the battle. It is a declaration: you are not even qualified to be my opponent. This is not cruelty. This is the art of controlling the existence of others within your own mind. Prepare yourself and focus with absolute intensity, because right now, I am going to teach you how to turn silence into a noose and turn indifference into an untouchable throne. Attention is the most valuable asset. Stop wasting it. Imagine your attention as a limited VIP card at an elite club in New York. Only those who are qualified are allowed to step into that space. If you open the door to anyone who walks by just because they shout your name loudly enough, that card becomes worthless. Life works the same way. Your reaction is that VIP card. Every time you respond to a cheap attack, every time you explain yourself to someone who has no right to judge you, you drag yourself down to their level. No one forces you. You do it yourself. And here is the brutal truth. Men do not lose power when they are attacked. They lose power when they feel compelled to react. Attention is the most expensive currency you possess. Wherever you place your attention, you hand over energy, time, and position. When you argue with a mediocre person, you are not defending your ego. You are investing in something that yields no return. When you rush to respond, you are not proving your value. You are begging for recognition. And a man who has to beg for recognition has already stepped away from the position of power. Machiavelli saw through this trap centuries ago. In his logic of power, the one who chases is always beneath. A ruler does not explain, does not argue back, does not step into the mud to prove he is clean. Power does not lie in how much you say, but in whom you choose to remain silent toward. Silence at the right moment is not weakness. It is a declaration of status. Look at yourself honestly, without avoidance. How many times have you exploded over a meaningless comment? How many times have you replied instantly to a message just because you were afraid of being forgotten? How many times have you entered arguments where, deep down, you only wanted to prove that you didn't lose? That is not a strength. That is the reflex of someone being led. Think like someone who holds power. If your attention were $1 million, what would you do? You would protect it. You would invest selectively. Would you be insane enough to throw that stack of cash into a pile of trash just to trade it for a few meaningless arguments if the answer is no? Then why are you treating your time and your mind so cheaply? To end this humiliation, apply the Ruthless 5-second rule immediately, before your finger types a defensive message, before your mouth releases an argument towards someone you dislike. Stop for exactly 5 seconds. Look straight at their face and ask yourself, is this person worthy of owning 5 minutes of my life? If the answer is no, give them an empty silence and walk on as if they never existed. Remember the teaching of the master of power: the sweetest form of contempt is invisibility. Your enemies will not go mad because you defeated them with fists. After all, that at least proves they were worth your effort. They will truly collapse and writhe in humiliation when they realize this in your eyes. They are not even worthy of being a target. Do not waste your most valuable asset for another second. Are you a ruler or a servant constantly on standby to react? This world has no place for those who overflow with attention yet lack power. Stay silent, ignore, and begin to take control of your own chessboard. Are you brave enough to become expensive starting today? Or do you still want to remain a cheap VIP card for the world to trample on? Silence is the power that creates the one who holds authority. During the Italian Renaissance, when envoys came to Pope Alexander VI or the Borgia dukes to complain or issue threats, these rulers would often listen in absolute, icy silence. They did not explain. They did not promise. They did not become angry. That very silence made the envoys tremble. Because they could not read the mind of the one in power, they left in confusion, wondering what they had said wrong. That is the power of uncertainty, a psychological phantom that strangles every will to resist. Have you ever asked yourself why you are always the one talking more in arguments with your lover or your colleagues? Why do you feel compelled to pour out long explanations whenever you are questioned? I'll be blunt. It is because you are afraid. You fear silence because it forces you to confront the emptiness of your own position. Modern men often mistake speaking up for self-assertion. But in reality, the one who talks the most is the one begging for agreement. Machiavelli understood that silence is not emptiness. Silence is a ruthless declaration of power. In any dialogue, the one who speaks too much exposes every weakness, while the silent one evaluates and forces the other to fill the void with extreme anxiety. Dark psychology shows that human beings crave feedback to feel safe. When you refuse to provide that feedback, you strip the other person of their sense of security. Look at how Batman confronts criminals in Nolan's films. He rarely argues. He simply appears and remains silent, allowing fear to multiply inside the enemy's mind. If you want to become the one who dominates, apply the golden pause. In a meeting or when being criticized, after the other person finishes speaking, look them straight in the eye and remain silent for 3 to 5 seconds. Do not blink. The pressure of that silence will make them feel ridiculous, and they will often end up blurting out something foolish to save the atmosphere. Stop playing the role of the kind and open person that cheap self-help books keep preaching. The king who speaks the least is the most terrifying. Your words are silver, but your silence is the noose tightening around your opponent's mind. The time has come to decide, will you continue to be a broken radio, endlessly explaining yourself? Or will you become a mysterious presence that others instinctively fear? Sign a pact with yourself by taking the 2 4-hour challenge of explaining nothing at all. If you dare to accept this game of power, comment, "I choose silence." Knowing when to withdraw is true wisdom. Are you the one who always leaves the conversation last? Are there times when you still linger at a party after the atmosphere has already faded? Stay online in a group chat when no one is interested anymore, or reply even to unnecessary messages simply because you fear being forgotten. These behaviors may seem small, but they quietly erode your value day by day. In those moments, you are turning yourself into someone always available, always staying until the end, and in the eyes of others, you become nothing more than the default option. Nothing special. No one says it out loud, but everyone sees it. The more often you appear, the easier it is for others to disrespect you. There is a truth most people refuse to face. Men do not lose value because they are absent. They lose value because they appear without selectivity. Machiavelli once said that the powerful never give away their presence to anyone, at any time. In life, what is rare is what is desired. What is common is easily discarded. In dark psychology, timely withdrawal is a supreme tactic for creating absence, a subtle craving planted in the collective mind. If you appear too often, everyone assumes they can summon you whenever they want. You become the default choice, the eternal backup. Someone no one fears losing. Look at the strategy of a top NFL football team. A star quarterback never shows up at every press conference, never answers every trivial question from the media. He keeps his distance. He appears only when it truly matters, and every appearance becomes a moment of brilliance. That calculated absence ignites obsession among fans and forces both teammates and opponents to stay alert. In social relationships, when you do not respond to a cheap message, when you are absent from meaningless chatter, you are regulating your own scarcity within the marketplace of power. You do not become weaker through silence. You are making others realize that they could lose you at any moment, and that realization unsettles them. People do not value what they obtain too easily. When you withdraw, you activate the other person's fear of loss, forcing them to reassess your worth. This is not cowardice. It is a strategic retreat to re-establish order. Do not be the man who leaves the party last. And do not be the one who wears down a chair at the office just to prove dedication. Learn the principle of intentional disappearance. Stand up when the atmosphere is at its peak, when people need you the most, and leave without unnecessary explanations. That mystery will carve your name into their minds more deeply than any grand declaration ever could. By contrast, if everyone knows you are always there, they will eventually stop caring altogether. Remember Machiavelli's warning, presence maintained for too long dulls the glow. The wise use disappearance to engrave their name into the minds of others more deeply than any proclamation. This is not morality, it is a survival strategy. It is a lesson the majority will never understand, but you are different. If you are lucid enough to choose intentional withdrawal, you have grasped a secret possessed only by the truly strong. Do not explain. Do not apologize. Disappear at the right moment. And let the world wonder about you. Society is a chessboard. Control your emotions to control your opponent. If you continue to let your emotions be controlled, 5 years from now, you will still be standing exactly where you are today. A predictable piece on the board, constantly manipulated by cheap anger and false flattery. You will remain the man who wakes up with bloodshot eyes from resentment after a pointless argument, or worse, the one who spends his entire youth trying to please people who cannot even remember your name. Do not deceive yourself with the label of living true to your emotions. In the real battlefield, living true to your emotions is merely a euphemism for weakness. The moment you react immediately to provocation, you officially hand over control of your life to your opponent. You are not the main character. You are a puppet dancing on strings pulled by someone else. Why do you allow a stranger on social media or a narrow-minded co-worker to have the power to affect your heartbeat? Have you ever felt ashamed realizing that a single sarcastic remark was enough to turn you into someone who loses control, flushes red, and says foolish things? That is the worst defeat a man can suffer. The more you reveal, the easier you are to read. This society does not favor those who cannot conceal their emotions. Here, the one who controls his heartbeat is the one who sets the rules of the game. Look at the life of Niccolo Machiavelli when he fell from power, was tortured, and exiled from Florence by the Medici. Instead of screaming in rage or begging for mercy from the victors, he carried out a magnificent psychological retreat. By day, he worked like an ordinary farmer, covered in mud. But when night fell, he cast off the dust of the world and dressed in elegant clothes, as if preparing to enter a royal court to write. He ignored the brutal reality and the petty men who held power, choosing instead to converse with the intellect of the ancient greats through the written page. It was this calmness and absolute emotional control, this separation between circumstance and mindset, that enabled him to write The Prince, a book that not only made him immortal, but later became a manual for ruling the world. Look back at yourself. How many times have you gone online just to argue with a faceless stranger? How many times has a stupid remark from a colleague been enough to ruin your entire day? How often have you allowed others to decide your mood with a single, meaningless action? Dark psychology shows that most of humanity operates like a conditioned reflex machine, angry when criticized, elated when praised. This is the rut of the low crowd. When you react on instinct, you are a pawn. Only when you eliminate that reflex do you officially become the chess player. But there is another path. One few dare to treat emotion as a double-edged blade. If you let it run wild, it will cut you. But if you learn to control it, emotion becomes a tool to command the entire board. When someone deliberately tries to provoke you, offer only a faint smile. When you are insulted, treat those harsh words as a foreign language you do not understand at all. If you do not understand, you will feel nothing. Instead of tensing up to defend yourself, stand outside the exchange. Smile lightly, or simply nod as if observing a child throwing a mindless tantrum. Your emotionless silence will strike a heavy blow to the attacker's ego, leaving them confused because their weapon has completely lost its effect. Others will be unsettled, while you remain calm. That is the power Machiavelli spoke of, He who controls his own anger can control the anger of his opponent. Never let anyone know they can affect your heartbeat. The reality is that this society operates like a massive chessboard. If you play by the rules of emotion, you will forever be a pawn. To become the chess player, you must observe, stay cold, and refuse impulsive reactions. Try one day without responding to any provocation. Try viewing every insult as meaningless noise. Sign a pact with yourself. I do not react on instinct. I control myself. And then I will control others. If you truly want to flip the board, begin by controlling your own heartbeat first. Comment below. I choose to be the chess player, not the pawn. That is the starting point of real power, the kind of power no one can take from you. Not even this world. Weaponize absence, don't let kindness become a given. The kinder you are, the more others take your kindness for granted. That is the trap most people who want to be liked inevitably fall into. You are always present, helping unconditionally, initiating contact, constantly checking in, always responding. You tell yourself, that's morality. That's how relationships are maintained. But the truth is harsher the more you give without limits. The more you turn yourself into a free commodity. One day, you get tired. You disappear. You refuse, and the whole world turns around to blame you, judge you, and make demands. No one feels gratitude, only resentment, because they have grown accustomed to enjoying special privileges from you. Machiavelli was no stranger to this nature. He emphasized in The Prince men are quicker to harm one they love than one they fear. The crowd does not fear the person who is always kind. They fear the one who knows his limits. The reality is that when your kindness is always available, it becomes a debt you are expected to pay, no longer a gift. The moment you stop giving, the recipient feels betrayed rather than grateful. That is how society operates. No one tells you this, because no one wants to lose unconditional service. The more you sacrifice, the more they think it is your duty. Your absence suddenly becomes a sin, not a freedom. Look back at yourself. How many times have you rushed to fix drafts, run numbers, or take on work for colleagues just because you didn't want anyone to feel uncomfortable? How many times have you initiated messages and kept lukewarm relationships alive just to avoid the feeling of loneliness? You thought you were being appreciated, but in reality, you were reinforcing a cheap position, the person who will always be there whenever someone needs them. No thanks required. One day you go silent. They get irritated. One day you say no. They turn away. Your kindness is both drained dry and despised. That is the price of being taken for granted. Want to break that vicious cycle? Weaponize absence. Don't show up to every gathering. Don't be the one carrying the workload for the entire office. Learn to say no. And most importantly, learn to stay silent without guilt. When you refuse to help a colleague who has been relying on you, when you remain silent instead of stepping in to resolve an argument that has nothing to do with you, you are sending a message. My kindness is not free, and no one has the right to treat it as an obligation. The effect comes quickly, and it isn't pleasant. At first there will be discomfort, questions, even accusation. But then your absence forces others to question the value you bring. They realize they had grown used to your presence, so used to it that they diminished it. From that point on, every time you appear becomes a reward. No longer a compulsory duty, they will have to pay with appreciation. with self-reliance, or at the very least, by stopping their treatment of you as unpaid labor applied to daily life. You only need to take one small action delay. Immediate responses to those who have taken you lightly. Stay silent when speaking is not truly necessary. Refuse to help when you feel exploited. Do not let yourself become the default option, the enter key that anyone can press at any time. If you worry that doing this will push people away, the answer is the complete opposite. Those who truly need you will find ways to keep you. Those who only exploit you will drift away. That is the purification of relationships. Your absence creates hunger, forcing others to recognize value. That is how a strong person builds walls without ever having to argue. This is no different from running a startup in Silicon Valley. If a CEO checks in every hour to ask employees whether they like his management style or if they are upset about something, the company will collapse within a week due to chaos and lack of decisiveness. You are the CEO of your own life. A true leader never begs for consensus. Remember this: a lion never loses sleep over sheep's opinions about how it hunts. Your silence and your absence are declarations of supreme power. From today on, you only need to focus on one thing: dare to be absent. Dare to be silent. Dare to say no. Do not let your kindness become a debt. Do not allow anyone to treat you as a given. If you want to begin taking control of your presence, comment, "I choose to be scarce." This is a commitment from now on. You will no longer serve other people's habits. You will begin building power through absence. Are you ready? 3 types of people who should be completely ignored. A wise leader should not concern himself with trivial people, but must concentrate power on what truly matters. Machiavelli wrote this, and if you are lucid enough to look back at your own life, you will realize that most of your daily exhaustion, confusion, and irritation come from people who do not deserve a place in your mind. You waste energy arguing, explaining, and proving yourself to all kinds of people, then wonder why you never seem to move forward. That is not generosity, nor is it understanding. It is dragging garbage into your own mind. A strong person, someone who wants to build a psychological empire of his own, must first filter out those who are unworthy of his attention. This society is full of people you cannot fix, and absolutely should not try to associate with. There are 3 distinct types that belong on a blacklist, never worth another second of response. Not even anger. The first is the direct enemy, those who do everything they can to undermine you, attack you, dye up dirt, or even turn you into entertainment for the crowd. The more you react, the more satisfied they become, and the more you prove that you are being controlled. Such people survive on your anger and attention. The smartest move is to ignore them, cut off their energy source, and leave them without a target to fight. Do not choose a duel with someone beneath you. You only reduce yourself to their level. The second type is the casual critic, people who never do anything, never create value, yet always stand on the sidelines to judge, comment, and mock. They do not contribute a single brick to your life, but want to play judge over every decision you make. Engaging with them is an endless game. The more you explain, the weaker you appear in their eyes, because you have dragged yourself into the cheap vortex of people who live off dissatisfaction. The third group is the energy vampires, those who dump their psychological trash on you, who do nothing but complain, vent, and blame fate, draining the vitality of anyone foolish enough to listen. Stay around them long enough, and you become negative too, exhausted too, seeing darkness everywhere. These are people who never change. They only pull others down with them. What will you do if you cling to the moral standards taught in school when facing these three types? Most people choose to argue back, to prove themselves, even to try to save such individuals. Machiavelli would smirk at that choice. Real power lies in not reacting at all, in not wasting a single breath on these people. Apply the grey rock strategy. Become dull and uninteresting to them. Respond only with a few words. Okay. Noted. Whatever. Do not share emotions. Do not play the savior. Do not care about cheap sarcasm. The colder you become, the more powerless they feel, and they will eventually retreat to find someone else to feed on. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in history, reminded himself every morning, "Today I will meet ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, and selfish people." He did not try to change them, did not waste energy getting angry, did not retaliate. He treated them as part of nature, like stones on the road, no more, nor less. His inner fortress had no space for such vices. He defeated his enemies by refusing to become one of them. That is a lesson Machiavelli himself would approve of. Choose carefully who is allowed to enter the empire of your mind, and never bow to the trash outside. If you think you should react to defend your honor when encountering these three types, do not be mistaken. Do not waste a precious sword to kill flies. Your power exists to conquer heights, not to clean garbage at the foot of the walls. Every moment you lose your temper, indulge anger, or engage with these three groups, you place yourself on their level. That is the sweetest trap of petty people, dragging others down into the mud with them. To take control of your life, you must build a steel wall around your mind. Challenge yourself for the next 7 days. No arguing, no explaining, no emotional exposure to anyone in these three groups. Stay grey rock until they grow bored and walk away on their own. Then you will feel real peace and real strength, the strength of one who commands, not a puppet of the crowd. If you have the nerve, comment, "I choose to ignore. I protect my territory." That is a silent declaration of war, far more effective than any battle out there. Do you dare to try? This is the moment society clearly separates those who hold power from those who are manipulated, becoming untouchable, the destination of the strong. Imagine your life as a solid, ancient castle standing firm in the Middle Ages. There are outer courtyards where anyone can wander in, noisy, chaotic, filled with strangers, but deep within the keep, hidden behind heavy gates, are secret chambers reserved only for those who are truly loyal, valuable, and personally chosen by you. An untouchable person is not someone who isolates himself in the shadows, but someone who actively builds, controls, and protects his own kingdom. He knows when to open the doors and when to close the gates against the uninvited. He owes no one an explanation for why he disappears, why he becomes cold, or why he does not show up. He is simply busy cultivating his own prosperity. Have you ever asked yourself why you constantly feel unsettled by other people's judgments? Why a single remark, a cold glance, or an unanswered message is enough to throw your entire day into chaos? It is because you allow everyone from the outer courtyard to walk straight into your inner chambers. You lose control, willingly hand over the keys to your emotional state, and entrust your feelings to those who do not deserve them. You believe you must be gentle, accommodating, and explain everything in order to be accepted. But that is exactly what makes you weaker, emptier, and more vulnerable to the storms outside. An untouchable person is not someone without pain or emotion, but someone who has chosen boundaries, built solid walls for himself, and grants access only to a select few who are worthy. Machiavelli always urged you to become a sovereign, a supreme authority capable of standing at the peak of power in society. An untouchable person acts according to core values, does not chase public opinion, and does not wait for validation to feel valuable. When you clearly define your principles, your standards of living, and a purpose greater than all outside opinions, you begin constructing walls that no one can breach. When storms rise, you look straight ahead. Seal, without shouting, without asking anyone for permission to be at peace. Begin building your inner fortress from the simplest actions. Each day, set aside 10 minutes to write down 3 values you refuse to negotiate: integrity, self-respect, resilience, or whatever forms the backbone of your manhood. Every morning, step outside with shoulders back, eyes forward, and the composed movements of someone who knows he is in control of everything within reach. When someone deliberately probes or provokes you, do not rush to react or rush to explain. Let those words pass like the wind, and hold your central position like someone who has already won the game before it even began. Are you afraid of being misunderstood, of being disliked, of losing your place in someone's heart? Remember, this true value does not lie in what you display, but in what you have the strength to keep to yourself. When you stop seeking validation from the crowd, when you dare to withdraw from half-hearted gatherings, when you know how to refuse relationships that offer no respect, you are gradually becoming untouchable. Look at the truly strong. They do not need to shout that they are strong. They do not respond to every provocation. They make the world revolve around their own axis, through nothing more than steadiness, silence, composure, and the power that radiates from ignoring unnecessary trajectories. In the end, remember this: the art of ignoring is not a petty tactic or an extreme form of coldness. It is a conscious choice to protect your energy, your emotions, and your ultimate freedom. When you control your attention, you not only strip others of their weapons, but also build an untouchable fortress for yourself. This is the spirit of modern Machiavelli. Do not chase cheap validation. Do not waste your life in pointless arguments. Devote all your focus to your true goals and values. The world out there will always try to drag you down to its level through provocation. But today, you have chosen to awaken. Will you continue to be a pawn controlled by emotion? Or will you become the chess player who uses silence to decide the game? The brutal truth has been laid bare, and now the choice is in your hands. Leave a comment below. When was the moment you realized you had wasted your attention on someone unworthy? I want to hear your story of awakening. If you dare to face harsh truths and want to master the art of power, hit subscribe and join a community of those who choose the path of the strong. Your journey toward mastering your position has only just begun. Do not react. Dominate.